Cashu is a standard that enables users to take advantage of Chaumian Ecash on Bitcoin. Now, if you're confused by that term, the long and the short of it is instant, zero fee, near perfectly private transactions. But that doesn't come without trade-offs. Today we're going to take a look at how to use Chaumian Ecash and Cashu on Bitcoin and a couple of the different wallets that you can try today. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, quick shout out to sponsor the show, HodlHodl.com. If you're buying Bitcoin and you're looking to do it with a few priorities in mind, including peer-to-peer trading, instant self-custody, and no KYC, then you can head to HodlHodl.com because all you need is an email address, nothing more than that, to sign up and be buying Bitcoin in no time at all. They also have a peer-to-peer lending platform, which is never rehypothecated, so be sure to check them out. Super easy to use, a ton of different payment methods, and again, you can stack sats without having to give up all of your personal information. Up next, we have CoinKite.com, my favorite hardware makers in the industry. These guys knock it out of the park every single time, and I love my Cold Card Mark IV for securing my stack. It's got a ton of amazing features. They got a ton of other stuff over here too, like the tap signer, the sats card, the block clock, all kinds of great stuff. Be sure to check them out. CoinKite.com, and you can use code BTC Sessions for 5% off everything in the store. Now, if you want to go beyond just single signature solutions for securing your stack, you can check out NON-CUSTODIAL and their assisted multisig and inheritance planning package known as Honey Badger. I've done a full tutorial on this. You can use great hardware like the Cold Card or like the Tap Signer. You can put it all together and be ultra secure, and you can also have that peace of mind knowing that your sats will be passed on to your next of kin in the simplest and easiest possible way. So check them out, NON-CUSTODIAL. And finally, if you are running all of that, you may also want to run your full Bitcoin stack in a sovereign way with Start9 Embassy, your sovereign computing solution. I've done a tutorial on how to set up Bitcoin Core, your Lightning node, things like mempool.space and Jam for Join Market. You can also host your own data when it comes to things like passwords and files and photos and all of that. You can even run a Nostr relay on this stuff. It is absolutely badass. Head over to start9.com, check out the Embassy One, or if you're looking for something super beefy, some high-end power, then you can check out the Embassy Pro to host your life. And with that, let's dive into the tutorial. So let's start this video off by talking a little bit about Chaumian Ecash and what it enables. As I said in the intro, this is a way to transact peer-to-peer in a group of people in a way that has near perfect privacy. And in the context of what we'll be doing today, there's no transaction fees and everything is effectively instant. Now, Chaumian Ecash was first conceived by David Chaum back in 1982, and given the timeline, it's not exclusively to do with Bitcoin, but it can be used with Bitcoin, which is how we're going to be looking at it today. Now, there's a few different implementations of using Chaumian Ecash in Bitcoin right now that are kind of getting a few eyeballs. One of them that we're discussing is Cashu, and the other one is FediMints. Now, FediMints and Fedi are doing things a slightly different way. It's going to be in and around on-chain and multi-sig and everything like that. Whereas Cashu, which we're dealing with today, is done via the Lightning Network. And so the way it works is you have a mint, an individual or somebody running effectively a Lightning node in which there are issued tokens that represent your sats or represent your Bitcoin. Now, anybody can transact in between people that are part of the same mint, or I guess the same Lightning node. And everything is blinded, meaning even the person running the mint does not know which tokens are owned by which users. And even when users transact with each other from person to person within that mint, there's not an explicit indication of who owns what. So you can't really see who owns which Bitcoin unless it's you yourself seeing the tokens that you own. And even if you send tokens to an individual, you don't explicitly need to know them. You can outside if you have a personal relationship. And the person doesn't need you to know you or even know anything associated with you in order to receive Chaumian Ecash in the form of Bitcoin from you. Now, in terms of actually getting money into a mint, it's done via a Lightning Network transaction to fund your wallet, at which point you have a tokenized representation of a sat for every sat that you sent into the mint, aka the Lightning node. And every transfer from person to person, on top of having privacy, is instant and has no fee. So you're basically piggybacking on the cheap fees of the Lightning Network to get into the mint. And then once you're into the mint, there's no further fees associated with transferring funds back and forth as many times as you please. On top of this, mints can actually interact with each other. So if you have a group of people utilizing one mint and you have another group of people utilizing another mint and you wanted to transact across the mints, that would just create a Lightning transaction from one mint to the other. So you can transact from person to person across different mints, and it just ends up being regular Lightning. And then at that point, you have funds within another mint, and you're open to transacting with all those other people without any Lightning transactions involved at that point forward, assuming you still have funds in that mint. Now, Chaumian Ecash in the form of Cashu also has another benefit when it comes to utilizing Bitcoin, and that is you're gaining privacy even when you withdraw from the mint. And the reason this is you're kind of hiding within the crowd. So what that means is because the person running the mint has no idea whose funds are whose at any point, you can effectively fund the mint, transact with whoever. Nobody is privy to what coins you own at that point, and then you can withdraw via another Lightning transaction, and nobody is any wiser as to whose funds are whose, both funding and withdrawing from that particular mint. And so you can effectively go into a mint, transact as many times and as privately as the mint allows, which is near perfect, and then you can withdraw, and nobody knows who the person who withdrew is at that point in time. So you kind of get layers of privacy, and you could probably enter a mint and move out of it and consider that an act of making your coins even more private as well. Now, as I'm sure you've put together from my description here, the major trade-off here is custody. And so you may be asking, where is this useful if you're giving up custody of your coins? Well, you do have to make the conscious decision in and around that. And so there's a degree of trust in the mint, and you're explicitly trusting the runner of that mint, of that Lightning node, that they will be effectively the guardian of your coins. And with that, you should only interact with the mint, one, if you trust it, or two, if you're putting such a small amount in just in the course of learning that it's kind of no material loss if something goes wrong. And that's kind of how we're going to approach it in this video. However, I think this can be used in an instance where people were already in the process of giving up custody. And what I'm talking about is there's a number of custodial Lightning apps out there. One that pops to mind that a lot of people are currently using is Wallet of Satoshi. Now, a lot of people are okay with using that, and they, hopefully limit the amount of funds that they have on there. But in doing so, yes, they're trusting that custodian, but there's also some sort of indication as to who owns what. The custodian has to know in some way, shape, or form, well, in general, I know there's a user and they have this much Bitcoin in the form of Lightning, even though it's like a custodial form of it. And I know that it's allocated here. And when I see funds move from one individual to another within Wallet of Satoshi, the people running that see that and know it because they're managing all of that. With Chaumian Ecash integrated to something like Wallet of Satoshi, all of that lack of privacy is suddenly near perfect privacy. So in that instance, people were already giving up custody, but if Wallet of Satoshi were to implement Chaumian Ecash or implement Cashu, then all of a sudden every user of Wallet of Satoshi would enjoy near perfect privacy. They would enjoy low fees, instant settlement. Obviously, we get the instant with Lightning already, but sometimes you incur a fee when transacting in Lightning, and with Cashu, that would not be the case. It would just be instant transfer, and nobody would know who transferred to who. And you would still be able to transfer out from Wallet of Satoshi to an external Lightning wallet at any point, or transact with another mint. Cashu and Lightning are all perfectly interoperable. And so I would love to see Wallet of Satoshi implement something like this, and then Wallet of Satoshi and any other custodial Lightning app become this wonderful privacy shield for their users, as long as they understand that, yes, you're giving up custody and you limit your exposure to something like that. I use Wallet of Satoshi from time to time. Might have a few thousand sats on there. Maybe I have more. Maybe I have 20, 50 bucks at a time sometimes, just to be able to have that ease of use. But by no means would I store a meaningful amount of money in it. But yeah, I think in those instances, Cashu fits the bill perfectly, and I hope to see it implemented more. Nonetheless, now you've got a bit of an explanation of what Cashu enables, what the trade-offs are. Let's dive in right now and get you set up so that you can start playing with it and experiment and learn a little bit. Again, word of caution, we're going to be using just some general mints. You will not have custody of your coins as you use this, so limit it to maybe a few thousand sats just to experiment, so that way, you know, if anything goes wrong, a couple bucks down the drain, not the end of the world. One other note that I wanted to touch on, of course, you as an individual can run your own Cashu mint. You would need to do it via your own Lightning node, and you can experiment with it if you're running something like Start9 or Umbrel, or even just using LNbits on the web. You can play around with creating that. Just be aware that it's pretty new, and with some of the node implementations, it's going to be localized to your local network unless you're good at networking and you can set up everything so that you have servers elsewhere to be able to connect to that. So we're not going to be covering that in this video. We're just going to be using some default external mints and just playing around. All right, so here we are on a website called cashu.space. It gives you a little rundown on exactly what Cashu is, how it works, some of the features of it, but it's basically what we discussed in the beginning. So right here on the main page, you can view the GitHub, or you can just hit open wallet and it'll open a wallet, which if you've already set it up, it will just open that same wallet for you. If you've not, it will get you started from the very beginning. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm just going to hit open wallet here. It opens me a new tab and it says, hey, 0 sats in this wallet. Let's get started. Now off the hop, it will likely not have a mint associated with it. Now I've opened this page once before, so there is a mint associated with it. When you need to set up a mint, it will likely give you a prompt, hey, do you want to add this mint? But if not, go to settings and you'll see add new mint URL, and this one will auto populate and you can just hit add. Now there is an option to add another mint because I've used a few others with this before, and you can just hit the plus button if you want to add another mint. But for now, we're just going to leave this be. So pretty much out the gate, all you need to do is add a mint, and any wallet that you'll be interacting with today will have that by default, and you just hit add, and then it will show here under mints, with a little check mark. Okay. If you want to get rid of it, you can hit the X. Now, if you get rid of this, it can be hard to find this link again. So maybe don't do that for now. And then it'll have your balance in that particular mint here, which we have 0 right now. We're just going to go back to the main page by hitting invoices. So let's just do a quick overview of what's in front of us on this particular page. We have a balance up top. We have an indication of what mint we're currently looking at right here. So it says, hey, you're dealing with this mint here, and this is the balance within that particular mint. Up top, we have 2 buttons. One says Get Ecash and one says Send Ecash. Well, we don't have any Ecash right now, so we can't send any. We don't currently, right now, in the context of this video, know somebody we're getting Ecash from, so we'll leave that for right now. Maybe we want to fund this wallet. Well, how would we do that? That's down below. There's Create Invoice to receive a Lightning transaction, or Pay Invoice, which would be to withdraw Lightning from within this particular mint. In the middle here, we have invoices. So currently there's no invoices. We have history, any previous transactions that you've received tokens for. And then of course, settings that we've already been to that shows our mints, the ability to add mints, and down below swapping between mints, which we'll discuss later. And then finally on the invoices page here, there's a little warning that says, hey, you need to bookmark this page in order to ensure that you can get back to it. So even though you can go to the cashu.space and hit open wallet, in case anything goes wrong in your browser, you want to make sure that you retain this. So you're just going to start and keep it as part of your bookmarks. And so it'll show up right here for me. And we'll do this anytime we're dealing with Cashu. Today, you want to make sure that you have it bookmarked so you can get back to this particular wallet. So with that said, we basically have this set up. We just need to fund it, and we're going to fund it with Lightning, as I said before. We're going to hit Create Invoice. We're going to send over around 5,000 sats. So I'm going to hit Create Invoice, and that gives me a scannable QR code that I can use with a phone wallet to send a Lightning transaction, or I can copy the invoice and paste it into a Lightning wallet that I perhaps have on my desktop. Well, today I'm going to be using a wallet that I have on my phone. It's called Muun Wallet, and Muun Wallet, again, enables you to transact via the Lightning Network. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to go deep into what Muun Wallet is and how it works. Basically, I'm just on a main screen here, and I have an option to hit a send button. So I'm going to hit the send button, and then in the top corner, there's a little scan button. So I'm just going to hit scan. That will open up my camera, and I'll be able to scan the QR code on the screen. My wallet is now telling me, hey, this is an invoice for 5,000 sats. You can send it off. There's actually no network fee on this particular Lightning transaction. So I'm just going to hit send right now. And that should pop up in my wallet momentarily here. There we go. So my wallet is now funded with 5,000 sats into my Cashu wallet, which is a Chaumian Ecash mint. So the amount that I'm now seeing on the screen here, this is represented within the mint. So it's sitting on a Lightning node that somebody is managing for Cashu wallet. And I can now transact with this via Chaumian Ecash from user to user. So we've set up this one wallet, but we're going to set up a secondary wallet so that we can interact with it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open up this website. It is called Nutstash.app. Great name. Love the name. Same thing. Gives you a little rundown of what Cashu is. Talks about how this is all open source. You can run it yourself if you want to go ahead and do that. You can mint tokens into the mint, which we just did via Lightning Network. You can send and receive tokens from any Cashu mint. You can pay Lightning invoices anonymously, as I alluded to in the beginning. And, ooh, they start talking about Nostr here. You can actually send this via Nostr, which we will get into towards the end of the video. Nonetheless, you can hit the wallet button and it will open up a new page for you. And it looks like so. So this is your nutstash.app page. Now, right off the bat, what do we want to do? Let's bookmark that. Make sure that we have it all set up so we can get back to it, and we'll save that. Okay, so it's now up in my browser there. So let's just go through the navigation here. So you have 3 tabs up top: wallet, mint, and settings. Up first on the wallet page, you have a balance above. How many sats do you have? You also have pending. Pending means anything that you've sent that has not yet been claimed. Down below, it does give me a little warning. You have to be connected to a mint because we haven't done that yet. So we'll get to see what that looks like. Below that, we see history and tokens. So history is any previous transactions. Tokens is anything that I currently own, and you can toggle on and off if there's pending tokens, and we'll discuss that momentarily. And then, of course, in the history section, you have amount, date, token, so on and so forth. Let's jump over to mint. Now here, it says add a new mint, and it gives me a recommended mint right here. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit add. And so this is the mint that I've now added. Now, I want to say one thing about this. This mint here, I believe, we'll jump back to LNbits, is different from the mint that I'm using here. Okay, so this one ends with PJTX. This one ends with IBIQ. So different mints. So just make note of that when we begin transacting. Okay. And then within the mint section here, so we can see that we've added a mint. It says a balance of the mint. We can delete it here. Again, maybe don't do that right now. You can add more mints by pasting them below and hitting add mint. And then down below, advanced. We're not going to mess with that right now. We'll just leave that be. And finally, over in settings, top right, you have themes here. You can back up your tokens. We'll discuss this momentarily when we get some. And we have a history. And that, again, takes us to our history screen. We'll just go back. And then these are the plugins for Nostr, which we will take a look at momentarily. Okay, so funding works a little bit different on Nutstash app. It's in a different place anyways. We're going to go to Mint. And right here within the Mint screen, on the particular mint we want to deal with, there is a Mint button, which means we're going to be creating new Cashu tokens via a Lightning Network transaction. So we're going to click on that. And how many tokens do we want to create? Let's make another 5,000 over here. Okay, so we're going to hit request mint. And so this says, hey, can you send over a Lightning transaction? And absolutely, I've got my Muun wallet open again. I'm doing the exact same thing, just hitting the scan button. And I am sending off a transaction right now. It should land momentarily. Now, the invoice is paid. It does not reflect it here automatically. You're just going to hit the mint button once you see your transaction has gone through in your wallet. Minting of tokens has been completed. You see a green check, you hit OK, and you now see a balance sitting within your mint here. And if you go back to your wallet, it will now show above. So a little bit different from wallet to wallet, and I'm sure as we see more examples of Cashu enabled wallets, they'll all vary a little bit. But we've successfully added a new wallet for Nutstash, and we've successfully added a new wallet for Cashu over on LNbits, and both of them are funded with 5,000 sats. So now we can begin to transact between them. I may have jumped a gun here a little bit. I want to do one additional thing. So it's important to note that between Cashu and Lightning and how we think of Bitcoin, it's a little bit different. Chaumian Ecash is different from how Bitcoin works. It is not a UTXO and ledger system. The tokens are actually files. And you may be wondering, well, how does that prevent double spending? Well, the tokens themselves are pertinent to an individual user. And every time you send tokens, what you're actually doing is you're going to the mint, and basically in a blinded way, so that the mint doesn't know who's getting what and what you had, you're able to anonymously and privately destroy your coins and mint new coins of equal value for the person who's receiving. So effectively, you send a token, the person receives that token, they can't spend it anywhere else. They just see the token, and then they can go to the mint and effectively say, destroy this and mint me a new one, which then I can spend elsewhere. And so that's effectively how it works, where an individual can spend a token, but then it needs to be destroyed and recreated by the mint. And this prevents double spending of the same coin. So you can't just like copy a file and use it the same and use it multiple places. It's like a one-time expenditure, destroy and create kind of thing. Nonetheless, what I'm getting at here is to back up your wallet, you need to back up the tokens themselves as a file. And that option here in Cashu on LNbits is this little button here, download wallet backup. Okay, and so this will download a file to your computer. Now within Nutstash, a little bit different, you're going to go over to settings and you're going to hit the backup tokens button. And this also downloads a file to your computer, and that is your backup. Now, keep in mind, it's very early days for all of this. So while you have a backup and you have your tokens there, there's no simple way right now, if you wipe your browser and have an entirely new wallet, to restore these tokens. There's no like restore button and then you pull in a file. I'm sure that will be implemented in the future, but this is why we're dealing with small amounts here, a couple bucks. And that's why we'll withdraw everything at the end of the video so that we have our sats back. Nonetheless, everything's all backed up. Now we can get into transacting. Okay, so we're going to send some Ecash from LNbits to Nutstash. All right. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to hit the send Ecash button in the top right. And then we're going to type in how much we want to send. We're going to send over about 1,500, not 15,000, 1,500 sats. We're going to hit send tokens. And so what you see at this point is a long string of digits, but it's the representation of this particular set of tokens being sent out. And you would send this token to an individual. So you would hit copy and you would send that string of digits to someone. Let's say you sent that out, and now you can see that my balance is already reduced, because the way that LNbits interprets this is, well, you've effectively said, I want to send this amount out, and it could be redeemed at any point. So we don't want to reflect a balance that could be redeemed at some point. We can also see in history that it says pending under a withdrawal of 1,500 sats. Okay, this will be updated when they're actually claimed. So let's say I'm over here on Nutstash, and I want to receive the token, or the string of digits that I was sent. I want to receive those sats. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit receive on the main page. I'm going to paste in what I got in a message from somebody. And it auto decodes it and says, hey, this is 1,500 sats, and it's coming from this particular mint. We're going to hit receive. Now it says, hey, you're not connected to this mint. Remember, I noted that before, and you may not have seen the notification, I realized, because it was underneath my face here. Nonetheless, I got a little notification in the bottom right that said, hey, you're not connected to this particular mint. And then it gives me the option, do you want to trust this mint? And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to hit trust this mint. Okay, perfect. So that has been added as a mint. I do get a little notification in the bottom right that says success. Again, covered up by me at the moment, but trust me, it's there. So now I can actually hit receive. So I can hit receive. Tokens have been received. I can hit OK. So now it bumps me back to the main screen and it says, hey, you now got 6,500 sats. And we can see this reflected here. We have the first one down at the bottom, 5,000 sats. We can see the little logo for it was minted. Whereas the next one here for 1,500 sats shows that it was actually received from somebody via another mint. Now, if I go to mints, it further separates out my balance. It says, hey, you've got 5,000 sats in this mint, and you've got 1,500 sats in this mint. And so basically anybody within this particular mint I can easily transact with that balance. Anybody in this other mint I can transact with in this balance. And if they're outside of each mint, then it would require a Lightning transaction to establish those funds going over to the mint, which may cost me a few sats and fees. You can also swap between mints. We're not going to do that quite yet, but just be aware you can send funds from one mint to the other. And so now we've received here. Now I want to show you what it looks like when I'm already connected to the mint. So I'm going to send over another transaction from the same wallet. So we'll just do another one for 500. So we'll hit send Ecash, 500, send tokens. We'll copy that token. We'll pretend, okay, we messaged that over to the person we want to receive it. That person over on Nutstash would go receive. They'd paste in the token. Hey, this is for 500 sats, receive. There we go. So there's no prompt to add a mint or anything this time because we're already part of the same mint. So we can transact freely back and forth, no fees involved, nothing involved in any way, shape, or form. And we can see back on the main page, there's another receive transaction for 500. And if we go into our mints, we see the updated balance on that individual mint there as well. So we've established a back and forth between these two mints. Now, what if I want to receive the other way around? So we're going to get some Ecash over here from Nutstash. So let's try sending out, and we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna hit send on Nutstash on our main wallet page, but we're going to designate which mint we want to send out from. Let's try sending out from the mint that was not the same one from LNbits. So our other mint. So we received 2,000 sats from our original mint. Let's change it here. So it says mint. We're going to click. I'm going to choose the other mint we're a part of. And we now have 5,000 sats available over there. Well, let's send 1,000 over. We're going to hit send. Okay, so it says this token is ready to be sent, and we can simply copy that, and that string we would just send over to the individual we want to receive it. So let's say that person was running Cashu on LNbits. They would receive that string and they'd say, okay, I need to get that Ecash that somebody sent me. So get, you're going to paste it in, you're going to hit receive. Now, this represents it a little bit differently here within LNbits. You see our balance changed here. It says, hey, you got 1,000 sats. Well, that's weird because we just had 3,000. What the hell's going on? If you look a little bit different, or a little bit closer down below, it says balance on all mints, 4,000 sats. So what exactly is happening? It shows, hey, we're now on this mint. We're looking at the balance on a different mint. So it represents the balance up top of the mint that you're currently dealing with. But it does let you know you have more than that when you look at all of your mints combined. If we go into settings, we can see the two different mints. So this automatically added the mint where the money was being received from. Okay, so we can see here, yep, there's our 1,000 sats that we received from this mint. There's our 3,000 that were on the other mint. And if we want to, we can switch between mints, and that then reflects in the balance at the header here based on what we can send from that particular mint. So we basically receive in a couple different ways depending on the wallet, but nonetheless, we're free to transact between each other on various mints. And then this time, I'll send out one more time. I'll send, oh, and let's take a look, by the way, how this was represented in Nutstash from the perspective of the sender. Hey, look, there's our money being sent out and our decreased balance in this mint here. Let's do this one more time because there's something I want to show you as well from the sender perspective here. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll get rid of my head here so you can see the notifications. I'm going to hit send. We're going to go from, again, the second mint that we were dealing with before. Okay, let's send over 500 sats. We're going to hit send. Okay, these tokens are ready to be sent. See the notification down here? We're going to copy that token for now. Now, I'm going to leave this page for a second. I'm going to hit OK. And I just want to see on the main page here, it has already reduced my balance, but we can see under pending 500 because we made a send token and that can be redeemed by somebody. So it's letting us know like, hey, you do have other funds that haven't been claimed, but they can be claimed at any point. And furthermore, if I go into tokens here, I can see pending, and it's a funny way of how they split this up. But if you were to add up all these values, they would add to 500. Okay, so it does a funny thing here, here within Chaumian Ecash. It splits them into values of 1, 2, 4, 16, 32, double the value all the way up. You can see 64, 128, 256. If it was a larger value, it would be 512. Tokens denominated in those particular denominations based on what you're sending. And so you can see all of these tokens, which add up to 500, are pending to be redeemed. If I go and redeem them, as we did before, get Ecash, paste it in, receive. All right, so it adds to the value in that mint. If we go back to Nutstash, if I go back to history, it might take a second to jump up. There we go. Tokens have been received. Tokens are no longer pending. I no longer have a pending message here. If I go to tokens, under pending, there's nothing. Okay, so those have now been redeemed. My balances now are reflected properly, and we've been able to send back and forth between these two mints and seen how the different wallets react. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to show you here. Let's say you went to send out some tokens and you realized, actually, you know what? I don't want to send these. I just want to keep them, but then they're just sitting in pending. What do you do? Well, let's demo that. You can actually claim the pending tokens yourself. And it's funny because in the grand scheme of things, even though there's a transaction happening, technically, even Cashu itself doesn't realize that you're the one redeeming the tokens because you're effectively saying, hey, I want to spend these. And then instead of spending them, you're actually redeeming them yourself, which destroys the token you created and creates a new one via the mint. So a little confusing there, but I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so let's hit send. Let's say, and I'm going to do one of the, just so it's simple to watch, we'll do one of the denominations here, 512. Okay, so that should, I think, should be a single token. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit send. Okay, tokens are ready to be sent. We copy that. We hit OK. Okay, so we can see pending 512. If I go into tokens, pending a single token for 512. Now, what if I want to redeem that? If I don't want anybody to take it, if I actually don't want to send it anymore, what do I do? Well, here within the pending section, there's a token here. You can actually double click and it'll highlight. It's longer than this, but you can actually double click and highlight this. You can hit copy. You can go to receive and then paste it in. that's actually the token that you can redeem back to yourself. And again, the mint is just doing what you tell it to. It's going to destroy this and create a new token for the exact same value that then goes back into your own wallet. So I'm going to hit receive, tokens received. And so now our balance is back up to what it was. The same is true over here in LNbits. So if I wanted to send Ecash, and let's do, what would it be? So let's do 128. I think that should be just a single token again. Okay, we're going to hit send. Okay, so there's the token. We'll copy it for now, but we'll hit close. All right, so we now have said that we want to send that Ecash to somebody, and maybe we're second guessing it. So we go to history, and hey, there's a pending one for 128. Well, we can actually copy this. We can click to copy. It's copied to my clipboard now, just a single click. We can hit get Ecash, paste it in, and receive. Okay, back to our own wallet. So if you ever, and you see how it's updated now to reflect that instead of being pending, it's now received. Okay, so we sent out and we received back to the exact same wallet, basically canceling out the transaction by redeeming the token ourselves. So if you ever run into that, just know that you can redeem what is sitting in pending that you meant to send and changed your mind about. Let's discuss swapping between mints in your own wallet. Looks a little bit different and is represented a little bit differently from wallet to wallet, but nonetheless, right now we're looking at Cashu in LNbits, and we're in the settings tab. So down at the bottom it says multi-mint swaps. Swap funds from one mint to another via Lightning. Warning, this feature is still experimental, could behave in unexpected ways. Obviously, again, very early here, so just be aware. There's drop downs. We're going to swap from. It says, which one do you want to swap from? Okay, we'll choose this one. And then swap to, we'll go to the second one. All right, now we have 3,000 sats in one and 1,500 sats in the other. We'll take maybe 500 sats from the top one and send it to the bottom one. So we'll say 500, and we're going to hit swap. And there we go. Everything is just automated, and it just sends over payment received, token paid, all of it. We get all the little notifications. And so now if we go to our main page, we have 2,000 sats here. Balance on all mints is 4,500 sats. We go to settings, our mints, the balances are updated. Now, in this case, it did not incur a Lightning fee. This can vary, right? Sometimes it might be a few sats. Sometimes it might be a little bit more. But in this case, it was not. Now, over on Nutstash, similar story. You go to your mint page and you hit enter mint swap. Okay, we're going to swap out of, we'll do the bottom one, and into, it only gives me the one option for the other one. Okay, so we want to swap how much? Let's send over 500 as well. We hit confirm amount. It says total. It shows no fees, so no Lightning fees, but at least it gives you kind of like it denotes what it will be if you want to, and then you can cancel if you don't want that. But nonetheless, we're going to hit the swap button. Tokens have been swapped, and okay. So now we can see that it has transferred over from this mint to the other, or sorry, from the bottom mint that had 3,500 went up to the top one, now has 2,500 instead of 2,000. So we sent 500 from one to the other, and that is all updated. Either way, none of it has changed here. It's the same total balance because we didn't pay a Lightning fee to get that done. All right, so this part I'm actually pretty excited about. I think it's really cool, is that Cashu works friendly with Nostr. So if you're unfamiliar with Nostr, basically it's a new social protocol layer that is censorship resistant and easy to use, and again plays well with things like the Lightning Network. If you want to dive into it, I'll link to, I've done a couple different videos on Nostr below, but I want to show the integration that you have between Nostr and Cashu. And so this works well with the Nutstash app, so the one that we were using before. Now this is a different wallet. It's sitting in a different browser. So if you're looking at discrepancies between transactions and between balances and everything, that's why I'm in a different browser right now. So yeah, anyways, we're going to jump over to settings. And within settings, I showed you before, there's that toggle switch for Nostr. Now, when I toggle this on, right now this is Google Chrome. My Nostr is managed by a plugin for Alby. It's like a browser-based Lightning wallet for Bitcoin. I've also got a video on that. Maybe I'll link that down below as well. Nonetheless, it's already set up within my browser. So when you click this on, it tends to auto-detect those things. So I'm going to click it on here, and it gives me this notification. Hey, this would like to be able to read your public key. I'm gonna hit remember my choice, don't ask again, and hit confirm. Okay, and so it says, hey, use external key, that's turned on. And then you can also configure relays here. So if you're using various different relays, you can add them here, hit configure, and paste it. But it has by default one relay right here. So I'm gonna leave that for now. Now I want to show you something really cool in the send screen that maybe you didn't notice before. So I'm going to hit send, and I'm going to choose the mint that I want. Maybe I'll use, let's see, nothing in that one, 1500 in that one. Okay, so I'm going to send 500 sats. So I'm going to hit the send button. Now, this gives me, now that I've turned on Nostr, two options. I can copy the token and send it to somebody, or I can send it to a Nostr pub key. In fact, I could send it to an NPub, the hex of an NPub, or somebody's NIP05 identifier, which is pretty cool actually. And the NIP05 identifier, by the way, is already associated with this particular wallet, mine. And so what I can do is I can send to really anybody on Nostr, and it'll go through as a DM, and it'll just be like the string here, the token string. Or I can send direct to an NPub, and anybody who's running this wallet and has linked up their Nostr to it will automatically receive it here as a notification too. So what I want to do right now, given the example that I showed before where Cashu doesn't really know who you're transacting with, I'm going to do a test one sending to myself. And so then we'll be able to see what it looks like on the receiving end of getting this. So I'm just going to go over to, this is Nostagram, and I'll just go to my page here, and I can copy my NPub. There's a little copy button right there. So I'm going to copy my pub key. I can use my NIP05, the BTC sessions at nostr.theorangepillapp.com. For now, I'm just going to use the NPub as the example. So I'm going to paste this in right here. It says, hey, send over Nostr. Would you like to approve this? I'm going to hit remember my choice, don't ask again. I'm going to hit confirm. It says, hey, this is what's happening. You're sending out. I'll hit confirm. The individual receiving it that you've sent to their NPub would, within their DMs, get something that looks like this, basically the string of the tokens in question. So they can redeem that, but if they're already using this Nutstash wallet, then within the wallet, they'll see something, there's going to be a notification under inbox. When I tap on that, I see, oh, geez, there's 500 sats incoming, and I can tap on that. It says you received tokens over Nostr. Click accept to add tokens to your wallet. This is the mint that it's from. It's from this particular individual, and you can accept or reject. I'm actually going to click this little thing. And I can add that as a contact, actually, label it, and then I'm going to hit accept. All right, so now that obviously is coming into my own wallet, so I'll just navigate around, and it should, yeah, there we go, it updated, even though you couldn't see the notification. It changed from pending 500 to pending 0. So I've received the tokens that I've sent to myself effectively, and now we see that reflected here above. So yeah, more or less, that's the long and the short of it. And it's pretty simple to send back and forth on Nostr. So of course, the last thing we want to be able to do is withdraw all of our funds into our own custody. Now I've gone ahead in LNbits here and I've actually done an intermint swap so that all of my funds are in a single mint so that I don't have to do multiple Lightning transactions to pull it out. And so you can see balance on all mints is 4,500 sats and I've got a total balance of 4,500 sats. So we're going to do a test withdrawal here. All we're going to do is we're going to hit pay invoice. And then this is where you could paste a Lightning invoice for the amount that you would like. You can also use the scan button to scan a QR code. So I'm going to be pulling up, again, I've got Muun wallet on my phone here, and I'm going to hit receive and create a Lightning invoice just for 2,000 sats out the gate, just to give it a test. Now, when you're doing a full withdrawal, you're probably still going to need to leave a little bit of space because there might be some sort of a Lightning fee associated with doing this, and you probably can't just put in the full amount. So, you know, give it a few sats. If it comes back that you don't have enough balance, lower it a little bit, and you do a little bit of testing there. Nonetheless, I've got my Lightning invoice on my phone here. I'm going to hit the scan button and just scan with my webcam. All right, so it says, hey, you're going to pay 2,000 sats. Here's the description, all that stuff. I can hit the pay button. Hopefully this works just fine. Okay, there we go. I got a notification on my phone with an incoming 2,000 sat transaction, successful there, and then it obviously withdrew from my balance. Looks like it cost me about 20 sats to send that over. So like I said, leave that little bit of leeway for yourself there. So that's LNbits. It's much the same on Nutstash. What you do is you go in and you hit pay, and that allows you to paste a Lightning invoice and also allows you to choose from which mint you would like. Now in this particular one, there's not yet a scan button, so you're going to have to make an invoice, paste it over, and then once that is pasted in, it will reflect the amount you're sending, what the fees are looking to be, and then you hit the pay button. Much the same as we just demoed in LNbits. It will then go through, give you a success message, and that is that. So I'll put together an invoice off screen, send it over to myself, we'll paste it in, see what that looks like. All right, so here I am with my invoice pasted in. I can see 500 sats being sent, fees 5 sats, and I can hit the pay button. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, there we go, all done. I get a notification on my phone for the same thing, and I can see a successful incoming transaction for 500 sats right there, and we see it up on the screen. All our balances adjust accordingly. And that's that. That is how you withdraw your funds from your Cashu mint. I encourage you to do so unless you're actively using it. And then you can transact freely and also not be leaving funds with a custodian if you don't prefer to be doing that. So just some final thoughts here. I love to see the developments that are happening with Cashu. I find it super interesting. Again, as long as you're aware of the trade-offs, you can partake in some of the benefits as well. Right now, I would advise, as I've said previously through the video, very small amounts, play around, just kind of learn about what this thing is and how it can be utilized. I do genuinely hope to see Cashu implemented in some of the major custodial Lightning wallets out there, because if people en masse want to partake in those ecosystems, they should at least be afforded a number of benefits by doing so, like perfect or near perfect privacy instant settlement on top of zero fees, I think that's a massive benefit if you choose to go down that route. Of course, self-custody is king. Running your own Lightning node is king. Using an in-between option like Phoenix or Breeze or Muun or whatever is far better than relying on custodians. But if people choose to do so, at least get more bang for your buck. I'm looking at you, Wallet of Satoshi. Maybe an option. I know people are zapping like crazy and it's busy and you guys are getting a ton of stuff going on there. Maybe it's time to look at something like Cashu. Maybe give it an eyeball. If you're watching this, maybe give them a nudge. Maybe send them this video, and perhaps that may be put on the radar for something in the future. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear what you think about Cashu, about how it works, what the interfaces are looking like. What do you see that could be improved? What would you like to see out of them? What do you see that you like already? And is this something that you might potentially use in the future, even for small amounts, and perhaps on Nostr if you're already there? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, and share. All those things help a ton when it comes to getting this content in front of more eyeballs. You can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below if you want to help the show in another way. Nunchuck, CoinKite, Start9, and HodlHodl. You can also, if you're planning on going to Miami for the Bitcoin conference, this will be my 4th time attending. You can hit up b.tc/conference and use code BTC Sessions for 10% off your tickets. It's going to be crazy. There's a ton of people there, 150 speakers, 15,000 attendees, 2,000 companies. It's going to be a blast. I've had a lot of fun every other time. And if you're heading down and you want to check out my cold card workshop as well, you can find that on my website, btcsessions.ca. You can also find me there for my one-on-one tutorials. If you need some in-person help, if the free tutorials online are not enough, well, hey, you can book them right over there. And finally, if you really like the show, you can always drop me a lightning tip at my Strike page, strike.me/BTC Sessions. You don't need Strike to use it. Just head there, type in any amount you want, and hit the tip button. You'll see a lightning invoice, or if you prefer, tap to the right, you'll see a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
HodlHodl the Bitcoin.